In this video, I'm going to take you through the full process of hosting your own Minecraft modded server using a Linux server that is hosted in a data center, so not on your local network. Now, the reason why I'm going for external and not hosting it on a local network is because there's actually a huge range of benefits, which include the fact that the server will be on 24/7 without you having to leave your own home PC on. The fact that actually arranging access to the server is actually a lot simpler than it is trying to open up your own firewall at home. And also on top of that, you don't have to run the risk of opening your own home firewall. And yes, it is a bit of a risk because you are opening your home network to the wider internet by doing this. So hosting it externally is always the way that I would recommend. Now, to do this, we're going to use the Linux operating system, specifically Ubuntu 2404. And the reason that we're using that is because, well, it's a lot cheaper and it's also a lot more efficient. Now, it's going to be a little bit confusing if you've never used Linux before, but don't worry, that's why I'm here. I'm going to take you through the whole process, and by the end of the video, you'll have your own Linux Minecraft server running mods ready for you and your friends to play on. At certain points in this video, I am going to be covering things that I've actually already covered in the vanilla Minecraft server tutorial that I made. And when we reach those points, what I will do is I will link you to that video so that you can go ahead and take a look at those sections rather than me having to repeat myself and waste more time. For those who already know all of the steps, you'll be able to just follow this video through as a reminder. If you don't know all the steps, don't worry, I'll let you know when to go and click a link in the description so that you can go and check out that step in that video. But like I said, by the end of it, you'll have your own functioning Minecraft server. So let's get to it. To host my server, I'm going to be using a Fasthosts VPS 4. Now, if we go to the Fasthosts VPS page right here, which we can do if we just go to the fasthosts.co.uk website, servers, and then virtual private servers right there. Scroll down and you'll see here the VPSs that we have on offer. Now, like I said, I'm using a VPS 4, which comes with 4 virtual CPU cores and 8 GB of RAM, which should be more than enough to host a moderately sized mod pack with some friends joining as well. I wouldn't recommend going any lower than that unless you know that the mod pack is actually going to be very light and very vanilla-like. And of course, you can try and host it on a smaller server if you want to. But my personal recommendation is try out a VPS 4. It's still going to be a lot cheaper than going for the same specs at a specific Minecraft host because they're charging you a lot of extra money just to set up Minecraft, which is not that difficult a process, and I'm going to show you that process today. So let's go back to our server page. This is the server that I'm running Minecraft on. This is the IP address for the server and all the login information. Now, to log into our server, we're going to use a program called Putty, which is this program right here. If you want to download Putty for yourself and use this Access SSH, which I definitely would recommend, go to this link here. In fact, I'm just going to go back a few pages just to see the actual Google search. So there's Putty, and we're going to click on this link right here, the Putty, a free SSH internet client at the shark.greenend.org.uk domain name. So a bit of a mouthful, but I promise you it's not a dodgy link. This is the one to go to. Then go to download stable and choose the right option here to download Putty. So Putty is an SSH client, and what it lets us do is connect to our server using SSH. To do that, we're just going to grab the host name, which is the IP address right there, and we're going to paste that in. That port is correct, so we're just going to press open. Just going to full screen this, and I'm going to type in the username, which is root, which was shown on that page. Now I'm going to go back to that page, go to view password. I'm going to click that copy button right there, back into my terminal. I'm going to right click. In Putty, right click means paste. Press enter, and I'm logged into my server. Now you can see here it's already saying that system restart is required. That's fine. So what we're going to do first, before we do anything else, and you should always do this with a new server, type in apt update, and type in 2 ampersands, so the and symbols, and then apt upgrade and -y. Press enter. That's then going to go ahead and try and find all of the available updates for your operating system. It's always recommended to do this, especially for a new server. And if you've not been on the server for a little bit of time, it's always worth checking for the latest updates. It's going to make sure that your server is secure and running efficiently. So I'm just going to let that tick over. And once that is done, which I think it's just about to be, okay, yep, there we go, it's done. So obviously it did say that a restart is required, so I would normally go ahead and do that. In this case, I don't need to right now, but if it ever says restart required, just go ahead and type in the reboot command, press enter, It'll kick you out of your SSH terminal session. That's absolutely fine. Just close it, open up PuTTY again, reconnect, and you'll be into your server. So instead, what I'm going to do is just going to type in clear just to make the terminal nice and clean. All right, just a very quick pause there. This is Future Tom in the edit, and I've realized there's a very small part of this tutorial that I missed and forgot to talk about, and that's how to make sure that the server, the Minecraft server, keeps running even when we've closed PuTTY, once we're no longer having to manage the server directly. In order to do that, we're going to use a program called Screen. Screen essentially allows us to have a separate terminal session running in the background whilst we, either manage the server directly in the main terminal or close it. Either way, that second screen, or however many screens you want, will continue to run in the background, and applications that are running in those sessions will also continue to run. And that's the important thing. That's what we want. So to do this, we're going to go into our server. Now, obviously, you can do this at any point during this installation process, so don't worry about the fact that this obviously looks a bit different. You can install Screen at any point, so don't worry. What we're going to do is make sure that it's installed by typing in apt install Screen, and you can see there that it's gone through the process. It is already installed and it's on the newest version, so that's great. So no problems there at all. And then what we're going to do is type in just the word Screen and then press enter. We're going to get a splash screen here just showing copyright and stuff like that. Press space to continue, and it's going to look basically the same as what we just had. You'll notice obviously that the command to install Screen is no longer showing, and all the output of that is no longer showing on screen. And that's because we're now technically in a separate session. So anything we do in this session is separate to the main session that we had open. The way to think about this is it's almost like having a separate window open on your computer. Now, in order to navigate between the two different tabs, what we can do is press Control A, so those together, and then D. And you can see there that that's detached me from the session I was in. So I'm now back in the main session. Now you can see there where it says detached, and it's detached from 398081. That is the ID for the session I was just in. So if we wanted to reattach to that screen session, we could type in screen -r and then 39. If I press tab, that will autofill the rest of the name. Press enter, and I'm back into that screen session. So what I'd recommend you do is get yourself into a screen session, get it installed, get yourself into the screen session, and then do all of your installation for your Minecraft server in that screen session. Once you are done with the installation process, and once you have the server up and running, which you will do by the end of this video, what you then do is press Control A at the same time and then D, and you will have detached from your session. You can then close your PuTTY terminal and everything will continue to run. So the first thing that we need to do is set up a user environment for our Minecraft server to run in. We don't want the Minecraft server to run within root, which is what we're logged into at the moment. And that's because root is the owner user for the entire server. And if anything was to compromise an application running within root, that then puts the rest of the server at risk, which is just not worth it. So we're going to add a new user to run our Minecraft server within. So type in add user, and then let's call it modded Minecraft admin. Press enter. It's added that new user and it's asking us for a password, which I'm just going to type in. So just set a password for this user. Type it again. Then it's going to ask us for some information about this user, so full name, etc. Feel free to enter this in if you want. In my case, I'm not going to because I don't think it's needed for this user. But again, if you think you want to add this, then by all means, go ahead. Information is correct. Press Y. It's now added that user, and you can see there it's added the user to the group users. Well, we actually want this user to be a sudo user. Sudo means super user do. Essentially, we're giving the user elevated permissions, and it's going to need those in order to run the server effectively. So what we're going to do is type in the command user mod dash lowercase a space dash uppercase G sudo, because that's the group that we want to add our user to. And then let's type in our new username. So modded Minecraft admin. Press enter. We didn't get any feedback. Within Linux, if we don't get a feedback for a command, that usually means it's gone through A-OK. So now what we're going to do is type in su. Su allows us to log into another user. And we're going to type in our new username, which is modded Minecraft admin. Press enter. And you can see there that on that left-hand side of the bottom prompt, modded Minecraft admin at Ubuntu. That means that we're now in as that user rather than root, which you can see further up the page. You can see that we are in /root. Essentially, we're within the directory that root exists within. We don't want to be there because we can't actually do anything within root, even though we have sudo. So instead, what we're going to do is type in cd space /home. CD meaning change directory, and /home being that's where we're going. We're going to the /home directory. Press enter, and you can see there that that little line at the end has changed to /home rather than /root. Type in ls for list, and you can see there that we have a few different directories there, and that's for the different users I have on this server. You can see I've already made a few users for Minecraft related things, but you can also see there that the modded Minecraft admin user, not to be confused with the modded Minecraft user, that terminology is important, but the modded Minecraft admin user and its directory is there. So what we're going to do there is type in cd modded. All I did there was press tab and it auto-filled as much as it could to one of the existing entries that it could select from. And I'm just going to type in admin, again, just press AD, press tab, and it auto-filled the rest of that name for me. Going to press enter. You can see there that that directory now has changed. It's the tilde sign. That basically just means we're in a home directory for the user. So if I type in ls, nothing comes up, and that's because there's nothing within this directory because it is a new user. Perfect. So the next thing that we want to do is install, or at least download, our modded Minecraft client. Now, which modded Minecraft client we need depends on what mods we want to run. So let's take a look so that you can see what I'm talking about. This is CurseForge. We're going to be using Forge as our modded client here. If you want to use other modded clients like Fabric, etc., then the same process does more or less apply, but obviously there may be some slight differences. In our case, I'm just going to be sticking with Forge today. So you can see here that this is a list of the popular mods for the Forge client. And the important bit is this bit right here, game version 1.21.1. That means that in order for this mod to work, we need to run it on a modded server that is running the 1.21.1 Forge client. If you scroll through, you can see there's other versions for different mods as well, so it's not all the same. So make sure that you know which mod you actually want to run. And when you know which mod you want to run, make sure you select the right game version in the Forge list in order to play these mods. Now you can find all of these different versions by going to the minecraftforge.net website, and you can see here that we have all of the different versions of Forge ready to download. And you can see here that I'm currently on the 1.21.8 version, which is the absolute latest, but I don't want that. I want the 1.21.1, which is there. I'm then going to click the installer button. That's now taking me through to an ad page. We're not interested in anything else on this page, so don't click anything here. But what we are interested in is the skip button up in the top right. Right click, click on copy link address, go back into your terminal, and what we're going to do is type in wget space and then right click to paste that link. And you can see here what we're actually pasting in is a link that ends in forge 121 installer.jar. That is the file that we want, and the wget command is going to download that file for us from this link. Let's press enter, and you can see there it's installed it, or at least downloaded it. And if I type in ls, there is our file. Now, of course, in this video, I'm talking mainly about Forge, but I'm also going to mention NeoForge as well. NeoForge is the newer fork of Forge. A lot of the main mod packs that you'd play, stuff like all the mods and things like that, they're all using NeoForge these days. And that's because NeoForge is a bit more up-to-date, it's a bit more modern. So it's worth keeping in mind when you're looking through mods and when you're trying to figure out which mod loader, i.e. Forge or NeoForge, you need, the best thing you can do is click on the mod and have a look and see what mod loaders are actually supported. In this case, Just Enough Items is supported by both Forge and NeoForge. So it's up to you which one of those you want to use, but when you're actually trying to figure out which mod you want to play, it's worth checking which loader you're going to need to be able to run all of these mods. A good example of this is we go back into Minecraft, and if we go into mod packs, you'll see here all the mods on 21.1, but if I click on it, it only supports NeoForge. So in this case, we'd have to use NeoForge. Now, don't worry, the installation for NeoForge is actually basically identical to regular Forge. So this tutorial still works for you. Rather than installing the direct Forge client that I showed you, you can instead come in here and go to 121.1 and download the NeoForge installer files instead. So once you've selected the right version, you just click here to download installer, and then right click, copy link address, and you'll get the link address. And again, you just do the same thing of using the wget command and then paste that link in, and you'll have the NeoForge installer instead. And the process of actually running that installation is exactly the same. Okay, so now that we've downloaded that, what we also now need to do is install the right version of Java for the version of Minecraft we're running. Now we know that we're running 1.21.1. So let's go back into Google. And what we want, let's close that. What we want to do is find which versions of Java we need for different versions of Minecraft. So let's just type it into Google. Which version of Java for Minecraft? Now I know which versions I want when I type it out, but this is a really good way of just trying to figure out what you should be doing. And the link I'm actually looking for is this, the mcserversoft.com link, because it's just a really useful bit of information. And you can see here that for anything after 120.5, we need Java 21. If you're running an older version of Minecraft, like 118, for example, then Java 17 would be the one that you want. And this is important because Java is essentially the code base that Minecraft and the mods are all going to run from. So you want to make sure you've got the right version for it to A, work, and also B, work efficiently. In our case, we know because we're on 121.1, that is above this version here, so we need Java 21. Let's go back into our server terminal. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in sudo apt install. Sudo because we're installing something and we're going to need sudo privileges to do that. Apt install is the installation command. And then we're going to type in open jdk -21 -jdk. Now, that obviously is different depending on what you're actually installing. So OpenJDK 21 is for Java version 21. If you've got different versions, then you should just be able to put in the different versions. Obviously, your mileage may vary depending on what version you're using, but a quick Google will show you which commands you need to run to install the right version of Java. If you're doing what I'm doing, which is using a more up-to-date version of Minecraft, OpenJDK 21 is absolutely fine and ready to go. So let's press enter. I'm going to type in my password, which I need because I initiated sudo to do this. And that's now installing Java for me. In my case, I already had Java 21 installed, so it didn't actually have to do anything. So that's fine. Let's clear our terminal just to tidy things up a little bit. And now let's type in ls. And so we can see that we have our .jar file in there for the actual Forge installer. We've downloaded the right version of Java, which means we know we can run it. So we just need to run it. Let's type in java -jar. Then let's copy this here, which you can do if you're in PuTTY and you're in an SSH terminal. Just highlighting is basically copying, and right-clicking is pasting. So we've just pasted the same name there rather than type it all out. So that's now in there, and what I want to do is add a amendment to this, which is -- let's move my mouse, install S server. So essentially what we're doing there is if we just ran that command without this end bit, it would try and install the normal Forge Java client as in modded Minecraft as it is, which is not what we want. We want the server client specifically because, well, we're hosting a server. So let's press enter. And that's now going to run the java.jar file to install the modded Minecraft client onto our server. So we're just going to let that run. And once that's run and it's complete, I'll be back with you and we will finish up this tutorial. And as quick as that, it's now finished. So let's do ourselves a favor. Let's clear the terminal again, just so we're starting on a fresh screen. Type in ls. And you can see here that we now have more files and directories within our home space. So let's have a look and see what we've got. You've got the installer.jar file. We technically don't need that anymore. If we wanted to get rid of it, we just type in rm forge and then press tab to autofill. We want the installer one, not the -shim jar. We don't want to remove that. So installer.jar, press enter, ls, There we go. Now to actually start the Minecraft server, what we technically just need to do is run this forge file. But what we may as well do is run the inbuilt bash commands to make this easier for us and actually apply some arguments when we're running the server. And by arguments, what we're really looking to do is indicate how much RAM we want to associate with the server. So this run.sh bash command, we could just run by typing in // and then run.sh. And that would then run that file. But we don't want to do that yet. What we want to do is type in nano and put that file name in. And let's just have a look at what's actually in this file. What are we actually doing? So this is the command to run the file. And you can see here the important bit that we want to look at, which is RAM allocation, is not done here, but it's done in the user jvm args.txt. So let's press Ctrl X to come out of this. Type in nano again, and let's go into that user jvm args.txt. So you can see here that we've got a lot of blue text, and we're starting with hashtags, which means that basically all of the text here is commented out. So it's not actually doing anything. And if we give it a quick read, we can see here a good default for a modded server is 4 GB. Do not allocate excessive amounts of RAM as it may cause lag or crashes, which is absolutely true. Uncomment the next line to set, and to uncomment, remove the hashtag at the beginning of a line. Very simple. We just remove the hashtag. You'll see here that the text turns white, which means it's not commented out. So let's press Ctrl O to save and press Ctrl X to close. And now, you've guessed it, type in /run.sh. So we're now running the Minecraft server, but it is going to fail. And the reason for that is, just like with vanilla, we need to accept the EULA, which has only just been generated by doing what we've just done. So let's type in ls again to list everything. And you can see here there's now even more files and directories in this space, including that eula.txt. So let's type in nano eula.txt. And just like you would with vanilla, let's go in, use our arrow keys, remove false, type in true, Ctrl O to save, Ctrl X to quit. So again, you've guessed it, /run.sh. Now that we've accepted the EULA, now that we've done everything else, this server file is now going to run. And once it's finished building the rest of the server, don't worry about the red text, it's going to do a lot of that during this process. Once it's finished building the server, we're going to see this. And once it's finished building the server, it's then going to be playable. And it's actually already done. You can see here, done in 8 seconds for help, type help. When we see that, we know the server is running. So this is now active and ready for people to play on. Now that the server is up and running, now what you need to do is make sure that the server itself is accessible online. Now, this is something that I've covered extensively in the vanilla Minecraft server tutorial. And like I said at the start, a lot of this process is actually very similar to running a vanilla server, especially when it comes to networking. It's all the same infrastructure underneath. And so in the description below, I've linked you directly to the part of the video where we start talking about networking and making the server accessible. So from here, what I'd recommend you do is go ahead, go to that video and get those settings put in so that your server is fully accessible online. Once you've gone ahead and done that, this server will then be ready to play on. Of course, all we've got at the moment is just a Forge server, but with no mods on it. So the next thing you're then going to need to do is go ahead and download some mods, which we're going to cover in the next video. So don't go anywhere.